I guess I hadn't realized that was the first time that we had a triple double in our program, and he had such a good activity level. He was. He put forth the kind of effort that it takes to now not just get those kind of numbers, but the kind of effort to impact your teammates and impact the game, impact the score, impact the outcome, and obviously the game happened not to. We weren't able to get all the way back, and the game didn't go away. But man, he was really active, and his role is changing and it's evolving here all the time with him handling the basketball more. So that's for him. That's something that he's learning about. In that game, to get 10 assists and just 2 turnovers, as much as he handled the ball and as much as he was involved in plays, is terrific from that standpoint. And then, like I said, his activity level, to get 10 rebounds, and then his shooting numbers weren't great, but he was able to get himself to some spots and get to the free throw line because he was aggressive and got some things downhill going toward the rim. So I just really liked, proud of him for being able to accomplish the triple double. That's an awesome thing to get done. But I just really I was impressed with his activity level.
A few guys that I think were probably close to that triple double mark. I think of Tuttle, maybe Jake or Adam Cook. Kajo. There's been a number of really good players that have kind of that all-around game. That have anybody else that sticks out to you?
You already named the ones I would have thought of. You can't name all of the ones that are going to be in that category and then ask me for some more. It takes. But when you mention those guys and what it takes to get a triple double is, you've got to be able to I guess to state the obvious, right? You've got to be able to do so many things, and not very often do you have guys. You talk about Tuttle, that he's going to rebound and score enough to get double figures in both those, but not very often does a guy that size pass the ball the way Seth did, right? Kajo is going to, get 10 assists. Didn't have very often, but he's going to be able to do that. He's going to get 10 points, but he had enough size where he could rebound, right? Jake's versatility allowed him to get close, right? A guy with that size, again, like Tuttle, who can pass the basketball. So you're just talking about a unique skill set for Trey at his size at 6'5". The biggest one for him, he's shown that he's going to score in double figures. He's got the ability to rebound it in double figures. But what's different for him now with our current team is handling and passing the basketball. And to have that happen early this year with a change in roles for Trey, it says a lot about what he's capable of and what he got done in that game.
Guys, you want to jump in here? I may jump in at the.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Nick.
I guess now starting conference play, you've got a lot of you have 2 freshmen there with Heisey and Bowen that are obviously making that jump as first year starters and an immediate impact. How would you kind of assess their progress to this point, and what are some of the things? What's that next step for them now entering league play?
Yeah, it's I think we saw in the Missouri State series, game 1 to game 2, the how much better they felt, how much more confident they felt in game 2, and then as a result of that, the way in which they moved the basketball, the way in which they attacked some of the harder closeouts, put themselves in position to get an easier shot. But what really transpired was they also put their teammates in better position to make plays. So our offense, we were able to get some easier shots because of the way those 2 guys played and the adjustments they made from game 1 to game 2. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. There was that's going to happen quite a bit with these guys, especially the first, whether it's the first 8 games, 10 games. It takes a while when you get into league play, because the thing about league play is a lot of nights you're going to be playing against older guys. And so those older guys have played against, whether it's Northern Iowa or Bradley or Missouri State or whoever you want to pick, the older guys in the league have played against that system and played against that coach and played against some of those players. So even if you take the staff out of it from opposing teams, those players, as you go through the league and you rack up some years under your belt, they know what to expect. They know how we're going to do things and what the games are going to look like, and so that presents quite a challenge for guys that are in their first year, and really, and guys maybe in their second year, especially if they haven't played a bunch as a freshman. So they're going to face that challenge each time we step out there. But it will get to the point where there isn't as much, hey, I need to see what game one is like before I can make some adjustments. And that might be after the Bradley series. It might be after 6 games. It might take 8. It might take 10. But it'll get to that point where they won't have to play a game one in order to make adjustments in game 2.
Does this season kind of have a little bit of a feel to a couple years ago when you guys were putting in the new offense and AJ was a true freshman? I know you had some Fife out with injury. Taiwan had some injury issues there early in the year, and it kind of took a while to find your footing. And then I think you put something together there in the back half of league play. You see some similarities with that group and this group?
Yeah, I'll mention it from time to time. There's a lot of moving parts right now. And the season you referenced, Nick, there was, as you talked about, there's just a lot of moving parts at that time with that team. And the key, I've always felt like the key is to continue to work hard fundamentally. If we look at the results even so far in league play, the first game against Missouri State, we felt like we left some things on the table from a decision-making standpoint with our offense. In the second game, the guys did a good job of executing some of those things, and the game was a little bit harder for Missouri State to defend us in that game. And then, with Evansville, they were better fundamentally than we were. They stayed in front of the dribble more often than we did. They made fewer mistakes than we did defensively. They executed and got deeper into the shot clock and into some possessions at the offensive end. And so as I watch both of those games, Nick, it still comes back to what you're doing fundamentally. And the team you referenced from a couple years ago, it did take us some time to get the moving parts kind of settled down and get everybody on the same page. And that takes a lot of hard work. It takes tremendous leadership. It takes guys really buying into the process of working hard each day to get better, but also keeping your eye on the things that matter and getting better fundamentally, becoming a team that is hard to play against because you don't make mistakes fundamentally. To me, that's always been the key. So that'll be important for us right now.
Looking up.
Such a young team. With such a young team, you're playing now 2 weeks into this back-to-back Valley League. How much does that help you, prepare, especially for the second game, or are there some disadvantages to that?
Yeah, haven't done it twice now. It's different and it feels different. As you look at the two that we have played against Missouri State, our team did a good job of making those adjustments and putting them into play in game 2, and it showed in particular in the first 10 minutes of that basketball game. The energy level that we played with, the energy level of the guys on the bench, and then the X's and O's adjustments. The guys did a very good job in the first series. Didn't feel like we did as good a job overall with Evansville in this last one. I didn't do a good enough job. And then we had some fundamental plays at both ends where we didn't attack them well enough and get them done. So I think with the back-to-back games, what you do with the things that you learned from game 1, how you're able to attack those in the second game is going to be key for everybody, not just our team, but I think for everybody.
Ben, what can you tell us on Antoine? Any sort of update on his status?
No, nothing in terms of returning to campus and returning to practice, Cole. Talked to him, we talk at least a couple times a week, and just talked to him 2 days ago. I had a good long talk as we were getting ready for shoot around, and he's doing well. Things are going well right now. But no, not in terms of him coming back, Cole. No, not in terms of a date or a timeline.
And how about Gonar? What do you think about what you've seen from him so far? What are you hearing from him? Mentally, physically, how does he feel? How do you feel like he is right now after having some games?
Yeah, he was it the game 2 against Missouri State? He was thought he was terrific in that game. The way Evansville played us, the way they defend, how they approach things, stretching out to take away shooters and giving some space with some guys that don't shoot it as well, had an impact on where Gonar is at right now and his minutes in some regards. So I think he's doing well, Cole. His presence is important to us. His activity level is really important to us. We've seen that in the minutes that he's played, and with the extended minutes against Missouri State in Game 2. He showed that he's very capable of impacting our team and impacting games. So, as a new guy, even though he's older, as a new guy, there's still plenty of learning going on. But I like what he's doing.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep. Thanks, Cole.
Just wanted to top in with a quick question on Bradley, too. I know they're kind of in a similar situation that you guys were in before you started conference play, where they haven't played in any games recently. How do you kind of approach that series coming up?
Yeah, their last game was against Missouri on December 21st. So we'll start there and work backwards. Obviously, they will not have played a league game, so that it'll be I think it'll be almost 3 weeks in between games for them. So we'll approach it the same way. We'll go back to their game against Missouri. We'll work backwards from there. We'll look at our games from last year. We just won't have recent games because they haven't played them, right? But we won't approach it any different.
What are your thoughts on what what you've seen out of them so far? Obviously, they have a lot of returning players back, and seem like a team that could be in the mix there in the title race. Yeah,
they're going to be. I haven't seen them play much yet, Nick. I'll start watching them this afternoon, so I don't have a lot for you. I know they're returning players, of course, but I don't have a lot for you with what this year's team looks like. But you said it; they're going to be a factor in the race. There's no question. They've got enough guys back, and they've been around long enough now, and have had success the last 2 or 3 years in particular. So they're going to be a factor in the race. They're a very good team. But I'll start watching the film later today, so don't have much in terms of specifics with this team.